I'd use some popular music here, but I don't think the video would be up for very long. Anyway, welcome back to Critical Rocket. Today is the Firestarter, which is another 35-ton light mech, the last light innisphere added to the game. To date, anyway, that doesn't mean it's the very last one. This is also tabletop accurate in its weapon loadout, which is 2 machine guns, 2 medium lasers, and 4 flamers. Now, in Mechwarrior line, 4 flamers is a tough goddamn sell. I mean, you're going to be hard-pushed to find anyone running 1 flamer, let alone 4. But that isn't to say flamers are really terrible or anything. In fact, I'd say flamers are quite useful. Situational weapons, really. Much like the machine gun and the LBX series of weapons, they have an increased critical chance against exposed sections of a mech, although not the centre torso, but anything in the arms, the legs, and the left and right torsos, and even the head are up for grabs in the critical section. So what I found with the Firestarter originally was when I first ran it, I dropped 2 of the flamers for 2 extra medium lasers to give it that extra damage. But running this version with the 4 flamers, it kind of changes the dynamic of the mech. It's still very quick. I mean, it's as fast as Jenners and Spiders and the such, but it feels a little hardier. It feels like it can take more of a pounding before it suffers any real damage. Or goes down. You'll probably find that fighting against a Firestarter feels a lot like fighting against a medium mech, because they're just so damn tough to knock out quickly. And it's definitely the Firestarter's greatest strength. It's a tough little bastard, and it will haunt you if you don't take it out fast. It'll haunt you. Oh, there's a mech who somehow teleported in my head there. Yeah, don't worry, visual glitch. So yeah, I was running the flamers with the machine guns in tandem because the machine guns and the flamers almost have the exact same range anyway, so they kind of complement each other. And the flamers will generate heat obviously, but the machine guns won't, so you have a constant stream of critical damage rolling in constantly on top of a target. And obviously the great thing about flamers is not only does it heat up the enemy, especially when they've been firing quite a lot, but it also has the side effect of blinding foes, and if they're not on a particularly good system, it has the rather underhanded effect of causing quite a serious amount of frame lag due to all the particle effects that are kicking off. Yeah, really, the Firestarter isn't really a mech that should be in Mechwarrior line, to be perfectly honest. Tabletop, it wasn't really designed for going toe-to-toe with mechs. It was designed for taking out vehicles and infantry primarily. More of an emphasis on the infantry than even the vehicles. So the mech is a bit of a tough sell to start with, although there are other variants that are built more toward the standard FS9-H variant is really only an anti-infantry platform. But you can make it work, as I said. You just need to run it a little differently. You need to run it as a fast-moving, on-the-spot support platform. Don't try to go toe-to-toe with mechs if you're going to run this build, of course. It's not going to help. You need to have at least one other, preferably heavier assault backing you up, because they'll take the damage and do most of the damage themselves, and you'll basically be acting as this annoying little flea who will constantly be like annoying and obscuring their view and overheating them while they're firing at you. And this match does show off that fact that I do shut down at least 2 mechs during the fight. And I'm definitely there to also cause a bit of harassment and draw some fire, as you can see with this direwolf. Now, direwolves and clan tech in general are extremely warm. They can't fire their weapons very long, especially in a map like Caustic Valley, which is already warm to begin with. But as you can see, a stream of fire. There's 2 flamers in the CT and 1 in each arm, so you get that nice little sort of a V-shaped flame flying in there. And yeah, you get that right in the view of the other player, and it isn't going to be seen a thing for the entire time you're firing. Obviously, 4 flamers does have the back flash of being very hot for you as a player, so the longer you hold down the trigger, the more the flamer's effect will ramp up, and eventually even you will overheat firing them. So They aren't a perfect solution. It's a pity, really, that you couldn't just run around for the whole map just flaming everything, but that would be a bit OP. But, you know, the flamers have got infinite ammo, so it's not like you have to worry about sticking extra gas tanks or fuel tanks into your mech just to accommodate the flamer. The Firestarter also has quite a sort of unique cockpit, in my opinion. Not just the shape of the I think you're in the right eye in the Firestarter, but just the fact that there's all these sort of ad hoc wires kind of stapled around the cockpit running along the framework, and you've got the like fire extinguishers, and even I think there's even like a fuel tank for one of the flamers inside the cockpit. It's just nice little touches that make it really stand out, and it's one. It was. I remember the first time seeing it and thinking it was really sort of unique. I remember being quite impressed with that view. Oh, and I took an AC-20 from a friendly hunchback there. But, you know, I don't hold it against him, it's just the heat of the moment thing. He's trying to take a shot and then this little mech pops out in front of it. And there's artillery. Which I actually managed to get away from. I thought I got hit by that, but I must have been quite lucky. As you see, I'm taking hits, but my armour is still intact. And it definitely speaks to the Firestarter is a good. The Jenner and the Firestarter are a good mechs to go to after a Spider. Although you won't have those great hitboxes, what you will have is a couple of mechs that do phenomenal damage and are just really fun to use. I forgot how much I enjoyed running the Firestarter. You know, before I tried to get footage for this, and it's immense fun to play in a Firestarter, just like it is to play in a Jenner. They feel like the underdogs of the light mech selection because of that whole lack of ECM thing, and it's the same story with the Locust as well. Getting that kind of success in the Locust or even in the Firestarter and Jenner is just so satisfying when you can show that, you know, used properly, these mechs are really good, great additions to a team. You just need to play them a bit more cautiously. That's it, really. That's the only thing. You try different angles. You find mechs that are sort of isolated or they're a little weak, and you harass. Instead of trying to go in guns blazing because you think you're going to have some kind of lag shield, you're not helping yourself or the team. You just you know, take a second to plan your moves before you go ahead, and I promise you, like, light mechs will come alive if you've been having trouble running them. There we go, there's that overheat situation. I was in there, very close to boiling myself.
Critical. Target destroyed.
Ooh. Mid-air kill there on the summoner. Now obviously, flamers do have a drawback. This particular build, if I'd been on Alpine Peaks or Frozen City or Forest Colonies now, it would have been a very different story because obviously the ambient temperature would have helped mitigate the flamer overheat effect quite significantly. But on hot maps, if you're lucky to get Terra Firma, Tourmaline, Canyon Network, Caustic Valley, any of those four, even the temperate maps, although these are the maps you definitely want to be using your flamers in, because players can get very panicky and they want to do damage and they also want to stay alive, so you can really take advantage of that panicky notion where they fire a weapon and you're just spiking their heat just that little bit needed to kill them and shut them down for those crucial seconds it gets you the kill or gets one of your teammates to kill. As I said, support is the best way of running this Firestarter. And that's the end of that round. It was a pretty convincing win, to be honest. Caustic Valley is one of my favourite maps. And yeah, you'll see the scoreboard in a second, but as you can see, my damage wasn't terrible. 392 kill, 10 assists, and decent XP. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.